What's up, my mini makers? Welcome to another episode of Tiny Tim's Minis. For those of you that do not know, I am Tim, and on this channel I take big things and I make them small. Simple as that. This week I am sculpting a D&D monster based off its description only. I am sculpting a Mesoloth. Here's the description I got. Standing about 5 feet tall, Mesoloths are a foe to be reckoned with. Humanoid insect beings from the hells bear down on their foes with vicious hatred in their glowing red beetle-like eyes. Light glistens off their jagged dark purple carapace as their forelimbs hold a barbed trident. We got that, and that's what we're sculpting. I had a lot of fun with this project, so if there's any other D&D monsters that you want me to sculpt just based off their description, leave a comment down below. Just leave its description, the name, and we'll go from there. But before we get into it, make sure you hit that like, hit that subscribe. If there's anything you want to see in miniature, leave a comment down below. I have a Patreon, so if you want to help support me and make more videos, go check out that link. I also have some Amazon links down below that have all my tools and all the things I use to make my cool little art pieces. Go check that out as well. All right, let's not waste any more time. Let's keep building. So we're starting this build off with an armature. I'm really starting to like armatures. It gives me a lot of control. It gives me just like something really solid to work with and build up onto. I used some white Sculpey to bulk it out rather than aluminum foil because I had some lying around, and I like it. It gives me a bit more control than aluminum foil, and I'm really happy with it. Like, it works really well. I put it in the oven first before I started working with the final layer of clay. We're just going to be bulking it out. We're going to be adding some humanoid features and also just kind of make it look insect-like. I didn't look up any pictures of the Mesoloth beforehand because I just wanted it to be my own idea of what I thought it was. And I thought I got pretty close. Here's my sketch of what I thought it was going to look like, and here's what it actually looked like. And again, I didn't have any pictures. I didn't look up anything. This was all from my noggin. So for the arm, what I'm going to be doing, I have this little ball. I cut a little slit into it, and then I'm just putting it right onto the armature. I added some bacon bond underneath so that it would stick nice when it was baked. And this is just to add a distinction between the body and the arms. Also, I want it to look like armor because in my head, it was like some sort of, like, they're not just bugs. They're also like, there's like a tribe of them, and they're like, again, they're humanoids, so they're just hanging out. They kind of like the Tusken Raiders. That's what kind of I was going for. For the legs, I wanted to add just some angles on there, so I cut it in this weird little teardrop square looking thing. I just put it right on top of his leg. I wanted to texture him in a weird bug-like fashion. So what I did, I took a little clay tip, I put it on a bamboo skewer, I took some of my ball stylus and stabbed it right in and I baked it. I did burn it. That's okay. It still works okay. But the texture that came out from it, fantastic. I also added a couple like lines with one of my sculpting tools. Just because when I was looking at pictures of bugs, there were some lines on the bugs. So I was like, you know what? We're gonna add those. And we're also gonna add this nice bumpy texture, and it looks really good. I was really happy with it. For the carapace, I'm doing a teardrop shape. Again, based on my sketch that I had, that's kind of the shape I wanted to go with. I don't know why. I could have just done like an oval, made it look like kind of like a cockroach, but I went with this, kind of like a hermit crab kind of deal. But I was really happy with how it came out. For the shell itself, I saw an episode of Bill Make Stuff, and he made these tiny little bugs one time, made them out of foam, but they had this kind of like ridge going up on the back of it, and it looked like a bug, and I was really happy with how that looked. I was like, I want to do that for one of my builds. So that's what I did. We took some clay, bent it up so there's a nice ridge on the back just to give it like an exoskeleton kind of feel. It was really cool. And then also in the description, it is a jagged carapace. So I took a bunch of clay turds, rolled them up nice and small, made them nice and jagged, and I just stabbed them in the back. It was like really easy. It's like making teeth, but you're making spikes. I could have done some bigger spikes, but I want it to be like, if you grab it, your hand's gonna start bleeding immediately. You know, it's like, it's spooky, it's good. So for the base, I'm not focusing too much on the base. I took some aluminum foil, made it into a nice like dome structure, and then I just kind of stabbed it with some aluminum foil to make it look like rocks. That's about it. It was pretty simple. For his trident, I took a bamboo skewer, wrapped up some wire. I just kind of wanted to build up the shape of the trident with some wire because I was going to free sculpt it, but then I was like, this is going to break immediately. If it gets touched like a slight breeze, it's going to break. I'm not having that. So what I did, I took some clay turds, rolled them up, put them over top of the wires, and I was really happy with how this came out. I really wanted to do a video it was a while back. I had an idea for a video of just making different weapons, and I think that would be cool. If you think that would be cool, leave a comment down below you want to see that. If not, leave a comment being like, no Tim, don't do that. At first, I was gonna have the trident be part of, like, they make them off of the dead carapaces of other Mesolos. So it's like arms and stuff, and that's what the trident is made out of. I ended up not doing that, but I still think I like the texture on there. And then for the handle, I just wrapped some clay around it, textured it up with my silicone tip, just to add it like a nice little cloth texture. But I think it came out good. For the arms, it was just like, I wanted to add like a little break in between like the circle and then the forearm, the elbow. That's what it is. I don't know. That's what I thought of when I thought of bugs. Just like little segmented arms. I wanted his arms also to be, like you see a bug, they have skinny arms, but I wanted it to be a little thicker. Again, I want it to be armor, like he can block with his exoskeleton. He's like, I don't need armor, I got my actual arms. That's what I went with. I thought it was like a cool idea. But we just segmented the arms. For the hands, I just had three little claws, but for the hands themselves, just did little nubs. I didn't want to get too crazy with the hands because like it's a bug. He got little claws. That's all he needs to grab his trident. And then I just textured everything with my burnt texture roller. Again, this thing is fantastic. It saves so much time. Instead of me stabbing it with my the freaking what are those things? Ball stylus. That's what they are. Instead of me stabbing with the ball stylus, we had that. For the claws, I just made a bunch of little, they look like teardrops or like little tadpoles, and then I just attached them to the hands. I definitely should have added wire to attach the trident. I did pre-bake the trident. This trident is not like fresh clay, it's baked, don't worry. But I should have added wire because the trident did break off in the oven. I opened up the oven and the trident was just laying there, and I'm like, should have added some wire, give it a little bit more stability, but it's okay. We attached it at the end. It worked out in the end. You see, it's busted. Look at this, it's busted, but it's okay. I ended up hiding all the seams that I fixed it with I just rolled out some clay in my pasta roller, and I made little wraps and added I'm really happy I did that because it added like a nice little different texture on him because he was just a bug, but this makes him a bit more like he's a humanoid bug. I don't know. For his head, I pre-baked a little skeleton that I could build on top of. I added the indents where I knew the eyes were going to be and also where the horns are going to be and all like the different details on there, just so I could have something to work with, just because I wanted a hard surface. I didn't want to do any soft clay. I don't know. That's what I did. And then I also pre-baked the eyes, and then I textured him up. I made sure his head fit, pulled it out, textured it up, and we were good to go. And again, in the description, it said he was from like the Hells. I think he meant to say the hills, but I went with the Hells, and I gave him some horns. I don't know, I thought the horns were cool. He needed something on his head because something was missing. And then I also added some more of those little baked clay turds on there, just so it was like ingrained, like I don't know, so it was moving, like this back was the same. It was like same different textures on there, so you knew it was like the same bug. And then for the mouth, I took a little piece of clay, rolled it up into an almond shape, and then added some of those baked clay turds into there because I was just gonna do cut some jagged spikes in there, but I was like, I got a bunch of these, I need to use them, let's put them in his mouth. And it came out really menacing, and I was really happy with it, and I blended everything together with my pre-made tool. It's time for the paint job. The paint job was pretty easy. I did a base of black. I started off with this like gray, green. I pre-mixed this up, and I was like, this is what his color is gonna be. And then I did it, and I'm like, this is not what his color is gonna be. It's a good undercoat. It adds some depth and the dimension into the rest of the colors I add, but it's not the final layer of paint. For the wrist straps and the handle on the trident, I went with a lighter tan for the wrist straps, and then for the handle I went with a darker tan. I don't know, I didn't want them to be the same colors, so I just went with these different colors, and I was really happy with it. This purple though, I love this purple. This purple, fantastic. Oh my goodness, I bought it at the hobby store. I was gonna do a color shift purple for the back, but I put this on as the base coat, and I was really happy with it, and I was like, we're just gonna keep this. And then I did the same color for the horns, and then for his claws, because I figured they were gonna be made out of the same material. I mean, his exoskeleton probably was supposed to be the same, but I was like, he's not just gonna be an all purple being. I don't want him to look like the Grimace. For the eyeballs, I did a base color of red, and because I'm gonna do a different, like a shiny red for the eyeballs. And then for the trident, I was gonna do the same color as his exoskeleton, but I ended up just doing gold because I liked how it looked. And then went over everything with a black wash, just because I wanted those bumps and textures. I wanted those to pop. Like if I did a dry brushing on top of that base gray, it would have looked poopy. It would have looked bad. I don't want that. I don't want everything looking good. I spent hours on this sculpture. I wanted to make it look nice. Then for the black wash, it was pretty easy. I went over it, and then I took out like most of the excess off with a paper towel, because if I didn't, then I would just be right back at the base coat, and we don't want that. So I went over that with there, and then after I was done with the wash, I went over with a dry brushing of this green. I wasn't a fan of it at first, but then I got through it and I was like, this looks really cool. Like, I really like the color palette I got going on. We got the purple, we got the green. It kind of gave me Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle vibes, but I was really happy with it at the end. I ended up going over everything with like a white dry brushing. I'm jumping ahead, but this is that red I was talking about. It's like a nice shiny red. It adds like a nice little like bug texture. I don't know. It added something nice to it. I was really happy. This is that dry brushing I was talking about. Dry brushing a white, and it really brought everything together, made everything like a cohesive sculpture. I was really happy with, like, I was so happy with how this looks. And I think I got pretty close like to the actual Mezzoloth. Like, look up a picture of a Mezzoloth, then look at this. I think it's pretty accurate. And then for the ground, I just did a dry brushing of different grays and some whites. We got our base. Boom, baby. We're done. We got everything painted. We got everything sculpted. I'm really happy with the results. Let me know what you think in the comments down below. Also, don't forget to hit subscribe. Okay, let's get those glamour shots. I just want to say thank you to all my patrons. If you want to help support me make more videos, I do have a link down below. In my Patreon, I give little updates throughout the week of how my build's going. I ask for your comments. If you want to see anything, what should my next build be? There's a lot of cool stuff in there, so think about it. Go check it out. Links down below. And we got another diorama in the books. Thank you so much for hanging out. I'm really happy with how this came out. If there's another monster you want me to sculpt, just leave its name and description down below. We'll get to it. If there's anything else you want to see in miniature, leave a comment down below. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. It really helps. leave a comment, leave a like. It really helps just kind of boost it up in the YouTube algorithm. Really appreciate it. Alright, we'll see you next time with another video. See ya.